the audience, I said it's technology.
All right, sorry about that, guys. We are back. Had some technical difficulties. Um, Sorry about that for whoever is watching. Uh, I say we start it from the beginning because I
Yeah.
don't know how much they could hear of that. So, all right, welcome back to the No Ramp Required podcast. For those of you who don't know, we have Joseph Boily on the show. He is a freshman here at Carson-Newman, all the way down from Canada. So I'll let him introduce himself real quick.
Hey everyone, Joseph Boily from Quebec City, Canada. So it's far, like Jordan said, it's 18 and a half hours away from here. I drove down with my car and my trailer, my kayak. And very different from what I used to back home, being here in Tennessee. And just to give a little bit of background of where I started fishing and all that, I started fishing right around 15 years ago. My grandfather on my mother's side was the one to really, bring a lot more fishing into the family. We would go on fishing trips, with him, my mother, and just the whole family to go and fish for trout. That's what mostly I've been fishing back home for when I started fishing brook trout, especially. So yeah, he's the one who really started that. And then my father bought a cottage in a region called Charlevoix, which is like right around an hour away from my home, going north. And that really was the place where I fished a lot more, and I really became obsessed with it. Like I would, from dusk to dawn, like I would all day I would be on the water just fishing for trout. And it's not a very complicated type of fishing, but it really get my passion for the sport started. Just feeling my line tighten and fight a fish. So that's where it came from. And ever since then, it's been a continuous process of fishing more and more. But
Yeah.
there's more. There's a lot more to talk about that for sure.
Yeah. And thank you guys for hopping back on. I really do apologize for the technical difficulties. Here at Carson-Newman, one thing I've realized in my 2 years being here, we do not have the best internet in the dorms. So appreciate you guys on Instagram. The guys on Facebook, I'm sure I'll get back on at some point. But yeah. So, Joseph, when did you first get into fishing?
So it was right around 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, I started, fishing because we would go on like little fishing trips with my grandfather on my mother's side, like I said, and we would just go there and fish for trout. It'd be really like a fun time, we have a cottage just for the whole family for like a weekend. We go fish for trout, brook trout, and so that's where really it started. It's that sort of like seed that my grandfather planted for fishing, and just tutoring me about how to rig up a hook and all that simple stuff. And so then after that, my father really saw that I had a passion I was going for fishing, and he actually always wanted to have a cottage. So he ended up buying a cottage in a region near Quebec City called Charlevoix. And it's like an hour away going north. And there'd be a lot of trout to fish there, like brook trout, a lot of like indigenous brook trout, very like beautiful colors and good to eat too. So we would go there and fish for trout. And I really like that's where my passion grew even more, furthermore. And I remember like spending days from dusk till dawn just by myself on a little boat with a trolling motor and just trolling all the time for trout with spoons and all that. So that's where it really grew, and just watching some people getting inspired ever since I started fishing, watching a lot of John B, Alex Perrick, AP Bass, and all those guys moving squad, and just seeing them catch a bass, which I was not familiar with at all, and that really like started me to actually go bass fishing. And I can remember like the first time I actually caught a good sized bass was on a chatterbait, Jordan's favorite technique. And yeah, I remember just with my first bait caster making some bird's nest every 5 casts, and then one time I actually did a good cast, and then cast it that far and reeled that in, and boom, caught a 3 pounder and a half smallmouth, and that really got it started for me. And ever since then, it's been just every year buying more and more rods and fishing more and more and doing my first tournaments. And I've been fishing for I've been doing tournaments for 3 years now. So it's not been a long journey, but like a very intense journey, very intense. And I've learned a lot doing that. But yeah, so my passion starts all the way back, like since I was young. But bass fishing, it's very, very like recent that it started from.
Yeah, and I feel like me and you and a lot of guys on the kayak team kind of got introduced into a unique way of fishing where we're not necessarily going out in a bass boat and running around all over the lake. Like we're fishing out of kayaks, which is a unique opportunity for those that don't know about it. So like high school anglers now that think if I want to go to college to fish, I got to go fish out of a bass boat, but that's not the case. Like you can come to a school that's got a kayak team and bring rods and tackle with you, and we got a kayak that you can use, go out, travel to tournaments with us, and go catch fish. So you want to talk about your start? Like, did you start out in boats or were you more in kayaks when you first started?
Yeah, started from the bank, the good old bank. Always reliable, doesn't break on you like a boat with kayak would. So just from the bank, fishing rivers and all that. And I remember when I bought my first kayak, it was a Pelican Catch 120, just a center paddle kayak. And I remember I was working at Canadian Tire, which is like a very known store in Canada. It's like you can buy anything there. You can buy a grill, you can repair your car. It's got everything. And I remember I was working there and I saw a kayak, and it was not even a Catch 120. It was like a stand on top kayak, but very unstable. And I said, I want that kayak. It was in like a discount too. My father said, yo, we should go check at another store right next to here. There might be something better. And I was like, no, I really want that kayak. So then we ended up going to that store. I ended up like listening to him. There was a way better deal. I got that Pelican Catch 120, and that was my first kayak, and I fished out of that kayak for a long time, right around 3 years. And I did my first 2 seasons of tournament bass fishing with it. It's just been great to me. Like, that's where it really started for me, kayak bass fishing. And I feel like the difference, like to anybody listening, you're doing kayak in a boat. Yes, of course, you don't go as fast. You don't cover as much water as you could in a boat, technically. Mm-hmm. But what is cool is that you can go anywhere. You can launch, even if there's no rhyme, you can launch straight up. You can. Like if it's straight up wood, you can just bring your kayak by hand, especially if it's a light kayak like a Pelican, and just launch it on a lake that's not private, but like you can't fish in private lakes, but you can launch like in a very like unknown spot, like deep into the forest, and you catch some big fish. So that's what I like about kayak fishing. And also, if you hook a fish in a kayak, a big one, you will never feel the same way again of catching that big fish in a boat. Like, ever since you know what it feels like to catch a freaking 5-pounder or more in a kayak, and the kayak just slides on the water, just following the fish around, now you understand. It's the catfish.
And for you, I feel like it's one of the most unique scenarios. Like you call yourself the penguin. It really is a case. So for those of you who don't know, Joseph's actually from Canada. So he ended up down here at Carson-Newman, and he is on the kayak team down here. So you kind of want to talk about how you've been doing in the American fishing scene, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Well, just to go back a little bit, like for me to get that opportunity to be at Carson-Newman is really interesting. There's been a lot of stuff that was out of my control, but I was still like, that was a dream. That was the vision. I quit my job last summer to fish more and to maybe get a chance to be recruited by a university by approaching them, wherever. And so it sort of all happened. I met the right people at the right time. I met John and Goffnet, which really introduced me to the team. And then the team, I spent 2 days with them, like with Jordan and all the guys. And we fished in the tournament. We fished a tournament on Lake Champlain. And after that, we went fun fishing. And then the guys referred me to the team, so it's just been absolutely a blessed journey for me to be here. And now that I'm here, like I understand I have like a big opportunity. I want to make the most of it. So now I'm thankful for what brought me here. But now I'm trying to make the most of what I have. So to answer your question, first semester so far is rough. really rough for fishing for me. Um, it's just learning the new fishery. But I like to have a rougher start because that gets me to ground level and I can improve every single time. And when I look back at my fishing career and all that, it's been it's
Good
been
old Michael Musgrove. He said, let's see. He said, I can tell where he's from by the way he pronounces kayak. CN is producing some hammers. Wish you the best, young man. He is so Michael Musgrove is a director of the Team Kayak series. He also travels around and fishes all of most of the Bassmaster events. But if you guys have not checked out the Team Kayak series, me and Barry Hill and Hunter Olivet fished it last year. Uh, it's a really, really great structure of a tournament. So you actually have to catch 10 bass over 2 days between the two of you. So you can go down there with no practice and very well win the tournament. So I just had to give them a shout out
yeah.
because they run an awesome trail. I'm looking forward to fishing a few events this year. I wish I could be down at the Harris Chain this weekend, but unfortunately, with the championship coming up, I was not in the budget by any means. So
Yeah. Thank you much for appreciate it though. Appreciate it.
I'll let you kind of pick up where you left off. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. So yeah, like I was saying, it's been a very interesting journey so far for me. But like I said, I like to have a rougher start and really improve consistently. And when I look back at how it's been for me in the past 3 years, it's been consistent up. And when I fish back home, and I had some up and downs. I've had some very bad tournaments where I've got disqualified for some reason, and that messed up my whole season, exactly like last year for my trail back home. Like just learning the hard way for me is the best way to learn. And I have a very great hope that regardless of, my start here, that doesn't define how my rest of the 3.5 years go. I do believe that there is that sometimes there's tests. And for me right now, the test is to how can I really have faith into what's to come for me. And, just putting more work than anybody if I can, be
Yeah.
able to, make up for the ground that I don't have right now. Because coming back to the team, all the guys that fish in the sea, all the guys that fish down south are used to fishing largemouth, which I'm not a whole lot. And back home we only flip docks or flip vegetation. We don't really fish some hard spots or don't really fish like those creek channel largemouth and all that stuff. I'm not doing that. So it's a learning curve, but I'm very excited and I'm very blessed to be here.
Yeah. And I feel like for you kind of got thrown into an area where the TVA in itself is a very, very hard area to figure out. It took me, to be honest, about a year to I had some decent tournaments in my first 2 semesters, but once I kind of got a grasp on how the TVA fishes, it was like, okay, it kind of makes sense now. But the thing is I can't relate very much from the TVA to what I do back at home. Like the closest thing is up shallow throwing a chatterbait. So that's what I tend to do the most.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that I have to take away more from the way you fish is like fish your strength.
Mhm.
If your strength is fishing shallow or flipping or whatever, then you just go do that. You fish good with a chatterbait. You like fishing chatterbait. You do well with it consistently, and you go fish at strength. Your strength is not fishing. It's not pinging a minnow. Your strength is fishing chatterbait.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And another question I got for you, kind of about Canadian fishing versus U.S. fishing, is how different is the fish behavior down here compared to what you're used to at home?
It's very different. These fish are smart here. They're smart. They see your bait, they're like, "No, I'm good." So I had that a few times happen to me. It's not the question is not to find the fish. Most of the time, I find the fish. It's just to get them to bite. It's hard.
And one funny thing I gotta say on here is Joseph first came down here from Canada, and one of the first things that we kind of talked about is he was like, up in Canada, you see the fish, you get them to bite. And I looked at him and just smiled and said, that's not the case down here. You might see 1,000 fish in a day and you might only get 5 of them to bite. But I'm telling you, you're the type of guy with your mindset and how you learn, you're gonna figure them out and you're gonna come in with full force. I'm just telling you that right now.
I appreciate it. I'm putting my whole into what I do and try to be intentional with everything. But you know what? when I used to do a lot of sports. Like I swam for 7 years and competitively. And when I entered like a higher group into like swimming, because I was in like like a more regional group, and then I entered like to the provincial group. And when I entered the provincial group, I was the worst swimmer in the whole group. First year, I came like first half year, and then when I came back through summer, I was the best in the team. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. All I'm saying is that I do believe that during that summer, I put in more work than anybody else. I was out there swimming, training all the time, and when I came back, I was the best. Not because that's just happened like that. It's because hard work will lead you somewhere. Like you
Yeah.
put in a lot of work, you're intentional what you do, you're consistent. The same way.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to do well, just be more consistent than anybody else. Put in more effort. What can you control? Effort. You don't control
Yep.
the variables or whatever that you can't.
Yeah. And just going down the list here. So you fish a lot of techniques at home that a lot of people don't really tend to use down here. So I want you to kind of talk about that a little bit.
All right. What do you do? I fish. I'd say like okay. Well, last weekend we fished Whatsport, and you guys were surprised when I told you I was fishing a Senko over 30 feet of water. Well, that's one technique I do at home. Just cast a Senko with a Senko, let it fall, and eat a fish, bites it. That finesse stuff is very what I fish back home. A lot of drop shotting, but it's a little bit different. I fish a lot of like smaller baits and light line, very light line. Fish drop shot, fish net rigs also. Net rigs are very great for big smallmouth, especially the ones with a little bit of with a skirt on it. The skirted net rigs are the best. And after that, chatterbait is pretty good too for big smallmouth. You're used to fishing a lot.
Yeah.
And largemouth flipping, frog, and punching. There you go.
Yep. And do you think fishing up in Canada kind of gave you any advantage when you came down here? Have you noticed that at all?
Um, I'd say if I would have fished more like rivers back home, that would have maybe helped me a little bit more. But even then, I believe that it's totally different. There's not really an advantage in my eyes, except that if we ever go up north, I'll be a little bit more ready.
Yep.
That's my only thing. But even then, like, no, I don't think there's a whole lot of advantage. I'll say one thing though. Like, I think finesse is something that I've learned to fish a lot more. So let's say if the fish are very finicky and you have to really finesse to make them bite. Like if I can throw like a drop shot and really slow down, I feel like that would be my advantage. Like cold water fish would maybe be the easiest thing I could like adapt to it. But like when you talk about the techniques you guys fish here, it's like the dice. What the heck is a dice? Like people started fishing with that thing, and I watched the tournament on Sam Rayburn, and I was completely amazed, like just seeing the what's his name, and Pate, the guy that won.
The one that's going on or that just went on.
Yeah,
Uh, I forget his name,
Big
but he
South.
had like
Big South.
yeah.
Yeah, Pig South. He was just fishing that thing on the top of the brush and just catching a 10 and then catching it like an 8. I was like, what's going on? So that techniques like that, I'm not used to fishing yet. But I'd say like I feel like here, forward facing somewhere is a big deal. If I can get that dialed in, it should be pretty good.
Yeah. And now we're gonna kind of touch on because it is 9:30, so let's see here. I'm trying to factor in. We'll go a few minutes longer just because we did have some severe technical difficulties that resulted in me having to restart the whole live stream. But I want you to touch on college life at Carson-Newman. So, why did you choose Carson-Newman University?
I'd say for me, like the first thing that really was the difference maker is that it's a Christian university. Regardless, like also the Kayak team is absolutely amazing. That's pretty much the best Kayak team in the country right now, the most like well organized. You got even a coach for a Kayak team, so that's been definitely for me a big reason why I come here. And when I went and visit the school, I really liked the vibe. It's a small school. You can really feel like Christ is here in the school. You can feel that the staff is nice, most of it, and just it's just great. It's just great. But Carson-Newman, it's so far it's a great school. Um, really like the really like the teachers here. The team is amazing, and people are kind. They're genuine also at the school, which I do appreciate. And yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
And to me, it's amazing how much money they're willing to kind of throw into the fishing team here. Like a lot of the other schools out there, like it's all kind of, we do have fundraisers that raise our team portion of money for the year, but a lot of schools out there, they fully put it on the students that are on the fishing team because it's more of a club. Here we have a team,
Yeah.
and like to me, you almost feel that environment. And Tripp just said in the chat on Instagram, he said, "Will Joseph keep his sport privileges in the next?"
Well, here's what I said to you, and I said the next tournament, if I don't catch a limit, I lose my four privileges. So I'm stepping up the game. I'm raising up the bar for what I have to do to perform. And yeah, those little challenges along the way is going to help me to do better for sure. But Trip, I'll let my actions speak for themselves.
Yeah. Um, Getting back to the questions I got, what kind of put you in the direction of college fishing? Like, what kind of made you want to start fishing in college?
Well, like I talked to like a few people that sort of mentored me along the way, and one of the good ways to actually be able to move to do professional fishing was to go to college and fish, because it's a good way to transition and to learn a lot more about fisheries. Fish stress free also, because the financial side is also covered in a good way, and that kind of helps to be able to just soak in as much as possible knowledge and just be able to learn. So for me, like it's really the only way I would see myself like going into it, because otherwise I need to go and leave my country, leave my job for a good long amount of time, go and travel, burn like a place like Texas or Florida, and just try to make it happen during a tournament. And you do it, and you got 50,000 pay of entry fees, like straight up, and for the tournament to qualify for the elites or whatever, and it's just like complicated. So for me, it's the best way to do it. It's exactly like yeah, like
Yeah. And for you, I mean, it couldn't have been easy leaving Canada to come down to the US for school. So I kind of want you to touch on that. Like, what hurdles did you have to kind of jump through to get down here?
yeah, a lot of paperwork, to get here, but it's I had my family to back me up on that, and I'm so thankful, so grateful for the number of hours my dad spent on the phone talking to people while I was at work and all that. Both my parents have a more flexible schedule, so they would really help me with the calls. I had to be at jobs, working at marketing at Kayak Outdoors, and had that like going on. So it's uh, it's definitely like for me to be here. It's some big risk, even financially, but it's for me. It's a dream. Like I had to live it out. I had to live it out, and yeah. So to answer your questions, it's kind of the especially like school for me was something that I was not like I don't feel like I was like ready for as much as it was going to be, but it's not as bad as I thought. Like to be honest, I was ready for worse than what it actually started being, because I had left school for like 3 years. So I quit college for after my first year. I had good grades, but just I wouldn't feel like it would start to be more precise and concise. Both my parents were had their business, so I was around them a lot. They would talk on the phone. I'd be in the car for like hours and listen to what they were saying. So I really learned a lot about business and during that moment. And for me, that's why I quit it. But then I thought about going back to school to go to fish. And when the opportunity arises, it's like, yeah, let's go. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going fishing, you're doing your fishing, but also you ended up with a degree, which has a value. But I do believe that now a degree is important, but what's most important is who you are as a person. So it's like, what can I do here to maximize my 4 years to grow as much as possible, get a reputation, maybe stay here afterwards, which was one of my goals, to stay here in Tennessee to stay more in the fishing industry, all that. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's worth it to anyone who has big dreams, aspiration, and that want to go and achieve greatness or achieve something that nobody's ever done, uh, just do it. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Like if there's any like sacrifice you've got to make. Most of the times when you look at what you have to like take away is comfort. For me to leave my main city, like all my friends back home, and to be here, even though I still talk to them, it's not comfortable. Like leave my family and be 18 hours away and not see them for like 4 or 5 months in a row, and I'll be just going back for like holidays and all that, just like 2 weeks and not be back here for 4 months. So it's not necessarily easy, but not pain, but like growth is necessary. Like, and most of the times it's not going to be an easy process. You have to go through the fire a little bit to grow, but it's worth it at the end. Like, so just go and push along the dream. Yeah.
And I feel like just how you touched on it earlier, but just how we ended up meeting you was just, to me, it kind of happened to me. I was recruited at a boat ramp on the Harris chain by Ewing. He walked up to me one day. He was like, "Hey, man, you want to fish in college?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, come on. Carson-Newman's got a spot for you." I was like, "Well, sweet."
That's awesome.
It was kind of the same thing for you. Like, you ran into John at Champlain, and like, there's a lot of boat ramps on Champlain. The fact that you two were there at the same time and that he talked to you, and we pretty much kidnapped you for like 2 days. And you were staying at the Airbnb. When that day 2 got canceled, we went and fished a small lake up there that was a little bit more sheltered from the wind, and it was an awesome time. And I'm really, really glad to see that you had come down here, because I feel like it's an opportunity that's very hard to pass up when you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of go down the list. We're gonna start talking about your tournament mindset. So, how different is tournament fishing for you compared to fun fishing?
So tournament fishing, you have to be a lot more intentional. It's not just about catching fish, catching the right size. And I believe that if you want to be better at tournament fishing, you have to really love the sport for what it is. That's the main thing. Keep the love for it. And when I think about the tournaments I did better, I was just focused, and yet I was focused, but I was enjoying my time. I had a good time out there. I'd catch a big one, I'd be happy about it. I catch another one and be happy about it. It's just like being the groove, maybe in the moment, being the zone, what they call it as athletes. And so for fun fishing, what I believe like this, the difference between the two is just either you go fun fishing to learn and to also have fun, because I believe you can learn and have fun and not just be like, oh, let's just go flip dogs today. I'm not even going to try to do something different. You can go fun fishing and have a lot of things to learn too. So for me, fun fishing is the way that I learn, that I try as much stuff as possible. If I have a thought in my head, like in December, what I think is like, okay, probably the largemouth here should be deep, whatever. But let me just go and try to run up that creek, see if there's a bit warmer water, and then we just go to try to fish that. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit like you kind of did it last night.
Yeah.
So it's just like go try something you don't think should work, but if it works, that's where you grow. That's where you learn a lot more. So like take out the possibilities in your head. If you're fun fishing, you're like, there might be something there, but I'm not very sure. Let's go see it. You have nothing to lose. In a tournament, you fish what you're confident doing, what you know is good. Tournament fishing is not the time to try a whole lot of different things. It's the time to fish your strength, fish what you're used to, and catch them.
Yeah. And let's see here. One thing I know we've all had to deal with this year, even myself. How do you handle tough practice days?
Next, it's just like stay positive. Next day, it's a new day. See what you did today. Write it down. Take notes and check what are the possibilities you didn't do. And next day, try to figure that out. Try to do it. Especially for me, that's one thing. I don't know if you do that, Jordan, but like I keep a journal of my fishing days. Like if I have a day, especially here, I started writing down what happened, what I did, where's the water temp, where's the depth I was fishing. I just try to, put like a puzzle together, like say what I did right, what I did wrong. So like I feel like you can do that to every practice you do, and that way you sort of like eliminate certain waters or certain things that should be dead, and try to find where the fish are.
Yeah.
Eliminating dead water is very important, and I do believe like the way you do it, like cover more water, is the best way to do it because you're eliminating places where there's no fish, and you try to get just one active fish to go, and then you're like, okay, maybe there's something here. Then you make another cast, and like, boom, okay, big one. All right, I'm sorry,
Yep.
I'm gonna leave. Like that's a smart way to do it. I personally, that's one thing I need to learn to do better. I'm the type of guy that's going to pull up to a spot, looks very good, fish it with a slow technique because that's what I'm used to fishing, catching the big one, and then leaving. But like if you cover more water, you'd be able, I think, to dial in more water, have more spots, rotate a lot more. So yeah, but like tough practice doesn't define the tournament. I've had more tournaments that had a rough practice, yet the tournament day was very good because people, when they have a good practice, they're caught up into whatever they're doing. But if you have not a good practice, you can actually go and fish head free, like stress free. Just go out there, enjoy your
Yep.
time. And most of the time, when you're actually in a tournament and you enjoy what you're doing, you can come across some very, very like interesting spots or whatever because you don't go in the water with expectations to fish a particular stuff. You're just going out with a blank sheet of paper, trying to put it together. And when I think back, like there's tournaments where like it was rough for everyone, but I just went out there and I was like, all right, let me try to dial it in. And then you get a little clue. You catch a fish, stroking the jig, ripping it out the grass. And you're like, maybe there's something to that. And then you just go, you just keep fishing. And then boom, you catch another big one. It's like, dang, that's awesome. Just like, especially if you don't have expectations when you start actually catching them, you're just like, oh my gosh, like I thought I was going to do bad, but no, I'm actually doing very good. I'm actually winning.
Yeah.
So like, bad practice doesn't define your tournament outcome. So just stay positive regardless.
Yeah. And we got a question for you from Trip again in the chat. He said, how do you feel about the U.S. beating Canada in hockey?
Honestly, it's kind of disappointing on my end, even though I don't watch a lot of hockey because that is our sport. And if we get beat at our sport, then I feel like the only way we can come back from this, which is probably not going to happen, is like to beat the U.S. in football, which I don't think it's like at the Olympics, but that would be the best way, or like basketball or anything. But I don't believe that's going to happen though. That's the only thing. Like there's no coming back from this except in the next Olympics. So you guys just stay ready. It's going to be different.
Yeah. I mean, they say couldn't take your country's bird, but we did for sure take your gold medal. So
Yep.
We'll keep that for you guys. We'll probably take it next year too. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, our guy's got a bass on his helmet. Our goalie does. Let's see. All right, we're gonna kind of dive into some technique and strategy. Gonna try to touch on this pretty quick. So, okay, what's your confidence bait right now?
Jeez, do I even have one? If I fish smallmouth, it'd be a drop shot. But here a largemouth, I'd say right now would be a crankbait or a
Crankbait?
either. Yeah.
Yep, those are really, really good baits this time of year, especially a chatterbait.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all.
Let's see here. Next question for you. Are you more comfortable with shallow fishing or offshore? Shallow. Because I feel like a lot of the lakes you got at home are kind of like shallower, like almost bowl-shaped lakes where, like, I thought you were going to do really good in Florida because, I mean, for how you fish at home, that's about the closest you can get around here. Like,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about Florida that I did realize afterwards. Like when I watched Florida, I watched like the time before I watched the Opens. That was one on Toho, and I was just caught up in certain techniques, certain things. Yes, the winning pattern was still one fishing that sort of techniques because we talked to the winning guy, but still, it was. If I would have flipped, I would have probably done a lot better. So I feel like when it ties back to fishing your strength, if I'd actually fish the way I fish back home and not put any pressure on me of trying to figure different stuff I'm not used to fishing, I would have done better. So for me, it's a learning curve. It's because like, especially when it's intimidating to me, like first time fishing Florida, there's so much dead water. I'm like, All right, let me try to dial in that offshore stuff. I've got a live scope. Let me try to figure that out. But like, I'm not used to fishing it that way. So it's a learning curve for me. It's something I learned recently. It's just like, just go and fish what you're used to. It's not, there's 100% a way you can fish like you're used to fishing back home and doing good in tournaments here. But like, that doesn't mean I don't have to learn the way you guys fish here. It's just like when I go fun fishing, that's the time for that. When I go tournament fishing, fish my strength. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like even for me, like that's one thing I've realized you've kind of touched on a little bit. I used to like go out and try and in one day fish like 7 or 8 different techniques and try and break down. Like there's a lot of guys that do that really, really effectively. But for me, I pretty much can't sit still. So when I'm out on the water, I prefer to be moving. And I love my motor. We got a team tournament coming up here soon that unfortunately lost my motor privileges because I like to motor really, really far away from the boat ramp, even for short 3 hour tournaments. But sometimes it pays off. Sometimes I motor 5 miles, don't catch a bass, and have to motor 5 miles back. But it's just
Yeah.
one thing that I've kind of grown to learn that that's about the only way I can cash a check at this point. So I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, you're doing it great, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I ain't trying to glaze, but like that's the way you do it. It works good for you. Keep doing it.
yeah. All right. Let's move on to this next question here. What's your favorite time of year to fish?
September,
September?
yes, for big small back home. And if here, I feel like here it'd be more. You guys talk a lot about May as being a great time. May or like November. I guess November is good too here, like both times of the year. So I'm looking forward to this May. I'll be probably staying a week more after school, just fish a little bit with the guys on the team. I know James will probably like take me out fishing a little bit. He was down to
Yeah.
go to Nickajack especially, so I think he's got that place pretty dialed in. It'd be fun.
Yep. And what's up, Ethan Jet? How you been doing? Haven't seen you for a few days. But yeah, Nickajack, great fishery. Excited to be able to kind of poke around there in a few weeks for the championship. And well, I guess not a few weeks. Practice starts next week. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, should be fun. But let's see what else I got for you. All right. As we kind of get to the last 10 minutes ish, I kind of want you to touch on uh, what's some advice that you give younger anglers looking to get recruited for college and uh, kind of go about that college fishing life.
Mm. So I'd say the best thing you guys could do right now is to get a GoPro if you can, get a little camera, or just film with your phone. Get into making content for fishing. Have a social media page, post your stuff. Go and fish tournaments a little bit if you can, and don't put any pressure, especially if you're young. I talk to a lot of young anglers the trail I do back home, and it's like, don't put any pressure on yourself, because the first tournament I did when I was fishing my first tournament, I finished in third place, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And remember, the second tournament arrived, and we zeroed out, and I felt the worst ever because it's just hard to zero out and when you see fish, when you see guys catching. And I remember I told myself, like, next time it's going to be different. And that's the next tournament we did the record for the trail, and we won that tournament by a 7 inch of lead against everybody else. So it's just like, go out and learn the fishery, have fun, enjoy your time. If you like to go fish lily pads and catch some big largemouth on the frog, just go do that. Enjoy your time. And by going fishing out more, enjoying it more and more, growing to the techniques, you'll become a better angler. So document your journey the most you can. Like, so people have starting to follow you for who you are, know your story, are inspired by what you're doing, and then you grow and you grow. That's exactly what I did. I put making content before actually being good at fishing. And man, I'm not saying I'm good right now. I'm just saying, like, I'm better than what I used to be. So, like, that transition to all the way here, and I feel like that is a good way to get universities to know you, get sponsors, which are very good for your fishing career if you're planning to do your life in that, and just like enjoy, have fun. Don't put pressure on your shoulders. Not worth it.
Yeah. And try to target schools that like start early. Go visit. Like go, even if it's not like an official visit, go drive around different schools, see which ones fit you the best. Like what I really liked about Carson-Newman is it's a smaller school, like Joseph said earlier. It's a Christian university, so we have a lot of Christ-centered people around us. So it kind of allows us to build in our faith. So, and like especially with the fishing teams, like we got a lot of guys that are building their faith and like trying to grow in their faith, and it really really helps when you have like-minded people all around you. So
Mhm.
not giving a plug to Carson-Newman, but if you're looking for a place that's going to feel like home, this
Yeah.
place is awesome. Also
100%.
got to give Adam a shout out. I saw his comment pop up a little bit ago. uh Hope you're doing well too, Adam. But
Yeah, and just to touch on, the that aspect, like it's not about necessarily what you can do. It's also really about who you know. So
mhm.
like I did a lot of shows back home with my sponsors, a lot of shows, and I met some very great people that jump started. It's sometimes you meet people and you get really inspired by them. And there's people that out there that are like very known, very very popular, but they're willing to help a lot more than you think. And by reaching out to these people, I'm not gonna lie, I've reached out to Jacob Wheeler once, and he responded to me. It's no joke. Like these people are human; they'll respond to you if they want to. And the question I asked him was like, "What do you fish more with flipping? Do you flip more with a half ounce or with 3/4?" Like a stupid question like that. Not even like, "Hey man, I like your stuff." Like he was like, "Well, I fish more with 3/4 most of the time." And I tried reaching out, I really like your stuff, and then he didn't respond. So like, you know, these people are
Yeah,
human. Just like talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just get inspired. I've had people that really inspired me and really help me grow more in knowledge in a short time. Be around people that are better than you, are surrounding yourself with winners, and that really helps.
let's see. Ethan said that's my biggest regret was not going to college. Going to a college I could fish at. It's crazy the way the kayak teams have popped up everywhere after I got out of school. Well, dude, I didn't even know it was an option, Ethan. It was unreal. I mean, when Ewing walked up to me at a boat ramp in Florida, well, I was with my dad getting ready to put in, the last thing I thought he was going to say is, "Do you want to fish in college?" And like I was around it, like I had known that Carson-Newman was a thing because there'd been tournaments up at the Susquehanna River near my house at home, and I'd always seen Ewing up there, and just to see him and like just having like I like to talk to younger guys at the boat ramp. Like if I ever see like what I assume to be like a high school angler, I'll always like go up, talk to him, kind of see what they're doing, how things are going. And it's like just that initial contact with them can really make a big difference for them.
Mhm.
And like um at the end of March, I'm going to a high school in Virginia to go talk to a bunch of high school guys. They all fish out of boats, but I want to kind of present to them how there's different options in college fishing. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be going to a school just to fish out of a bass, but like if they wanted to have the opportunity to kayak fish, like there's a couple of schools now that offer that, and I mean they offer scholarships. Like that's another thing that's a really big deal. Like
Yeah.
not a lot of fishing teams offer that many scholarships, and to be able to be fortunate enough for our school to have kayak fishing scholarships, I feel like that's a really really important aspect of kind of our environment here. I'd say as a team, like I feel like everything is like you said earlier, super well organized. Like we all care about each other in the team. Like coaches care about us, school cares about us, all that kind of stuff.
No,
Really, really
yeah.
makes a big difference.
Like you said, it's like sometimes it's just that initial contact with the person makes a huge difference. And you know, you have to. We have to. We're at the point now where we have this great opportunity to be here at school, and to fish for Carson-Newman, and we want to give back. So if any person listening wants to talk to us for whatever you guys want to have tips for baits or whatever, just you can reach out at least to me, Jordan too. We're probably gonna say the
Yep,
same thing, but like anytime you guys have questions, you can reach out to us, and we'll be willing to give advice and help you guys as much as we can.
yep. And it's like I'm always willing to do that. I get DMs every week with people asking me like, "Hey, how do I get into college kayak fishing. How do I do this and that? And it's like I'm always willing to answer and kind of help people out as much as I can. But we are kind of getting to the end time here, so I kind of want you to talk about where they can find you, and if you have any sponsors or anything you'd love to give a shout out to. That'd
Yeah.
be perfect.
You guys can find me at Joseph Boily on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, it's with the underscore between Joseph and Boily. You can find me on TikTok with Joe's Fishing. So right there, you see the sign right here. Oh, the other way. There you go. And then you can go also on YouTube, same thing. You can check my website out too, it's joespfishing.com. And you can check all that. There is all my links there too. So my sponsors, I want to say big thank you to the Outdoors Agency back home, St. Lucie, where they rep a lot of baits. So like Akuma, fishing tackle, I fish a lot of rods, great reels. And Costa is also amazing. So Kayak Outdoors too, rain gear, solar protection, great gear. Really like it. Especially with the face shield on that one. I should put it on just to show people. I don't know.
If you want to grab it real quick, I'm going to answer Ethan's comment here. Ethan said I won't answer the juice, how I catch some big bags, but my answer to that is a chatterbait and very shallow.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna show you a very interesting rain jacket that I wear all the time. It's like built to be ready for any rain, anything. Check it out. So this is the Kayak Hurricane. Got a full face protection. When you run on a bass boat, I've been in this for a few times in the bass boat, running like 75 miles an hour. You're like this. You're just chilling. No wind on you, no rain. Just like you pull up to the spot, and then there you go.
Yeah,
easy.
It's a pretty. You might as well keep that on for the rest of the show.
I'm gonna keep it on a little bit.
Yeah. Is there any other sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Carson-Newman University. That's like the main thing, really, and just being here at school, they've been great to me. Jacob Frazier, wanted to give a big shout out to him. For putting me on here at Carson-Newman and just being there to support the team. I'm going to give a big shout out to my mom. She's my biggest fan. Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. Shout out to my father to help me get here. And I want to say a big thank you to all the folks back home, all the guys that helped me, get more into the sport and learn a lot more. Jason Loyon, Conrad Bissonnette, and other guys. I'm not remembering it all, but there's a lot more people. So I appreciate you guys. And yeah.
Yep. So thank you guys for watching another episode of the No Ramp Required podcast. Just want to let you know this video should be uploaded to YouTube later today at about 10:30 to 10:15. I'll probably go ahead.
Terrence Conroy, thank you, man. Appreciate it. And also Antoine de la Chigagnon. Love you guys. You guys really helped me grow into the sport and always been there for me. So appreciate you. All right, I'm done.
All right, hold up. All right, Joseph, you're not a big caffeine guy. How many Mountain Dews in a day? I've had this question asked to me a lot. 0?
Not 3, 0.
0?
0.
Okay. I got asked this question at a boat ramp on the Kissimmee chain, and I said, if I ever had to sit down and just drink Mountain Dews, I said the most I could probably drink, Conrad, would be probably about 12 before I feel like I'd probably throw up.
12? Dang, that's a lot. I ain't doing that. Yeah. I can drink 1 coffee before fishing, and even then, coffee milk will make you go to the bathroom, so you gotta leave the coffee behind.
Yeah. Conrad put in the Instagram comments, he said bald eagle or Canadian goose. All I gotta say is talons up. But yeah, we got that gold medal. But yeah, this video is going to be uploaded later today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. We're going to be back on the original schedule, so just make sure to tune into that. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week.
See you guys.